Let me show you the best pickling recipe in the world, starting with some sanitized jars. This is my ozone bubbler from Therasage, which will get rid of all of the bacteria. And here's what I use. 1 tablespoon of dill seed. I use a couple cloves of garlic. I use a teaspoon of mustard seed and a couple pieces of peppercorn, maybe like 4 to 5 in each jar. There's my garlic. I love my garlic. We also can't forget a pinch of pickle crisp in every jar. There's probably about 10 little granules in each jar, maybe a little bit more. There you go. This is what it looks like. These are organic cucumbers from the Amish, which I'm very grateful for. I cut them up lengthwise because they sit in the jar and they are really, really solid in there. As you can tell, they're not going to fall out, but that makes it easier for canning and for storing. You want to make sure you cut the ends off because they can end up tasting really bitter and it can actually ruin your batch of pickles, so cut those ends, you don't need them. In here I put 6 cups of vinegar, 6 cups of filtered water, and half a cup of the canning salt. I'm going to bring that to a warmer temperature while I get my canner going. It needs to get to 180 and that's where it's going to stay. Once the brine is warmed up, which is the vinegar, water, and salt, I'm going to start filling up the jars one by one. This is the part that takes a long time, but that's okay because I'm going to have pickles. You want to fill it up to cover all of the cucumbers, but leave that space where the rings are at the top. That is going to be for air. I gently bang the jars to make sure any bubbles are removed, and I also have a skewer that I'm going to poke in there to get rid of any of those big bubbles, because you know what will happen when that goes in the canner? It will explode. You also want to make sure that you're using new lids, not old ones, because the new ones will seal, the old ones will not. Fingertip tight. So see, I can tighten it and untighten it with my fingers. No more, no less. This is a skill you need to master. It's ready to go. Oh, and one more thing. What you want to do is make sure you wipe down the lid and make sure there's no liquid, because if there is, it will also explode. I've learned the hard way. Now this is the part where you say your prayers and you need to be patient. It is a really good shoulder exercise because you got to go slow. And I'm sorry, these jars are heavy. You put them in very, very, very slowly while you pray that all of them go in. So the goal here is to have the temperature up to 180 to 185, and I'm going to leave them in the canner for 30 minutes once it's at 180. So if having it open, it dips to 150, you're going to turn it up. Once it hits at 180, you're going to keep that timer for 30 minutes. Once the 30 minutes is done, you're going to take them out and you are going to store them on a flat surface. I like to put them on a towel, and I say that because they need a surface that's not cold. If you have a marble countertop, the shock might also make them crack, and you don't want to do that. So again, take them out, but take them out slowly. Be patient. Store them on a towel and leave the rings on for now. You will hear a sound, which is them sealing in, which is all good news. So if you hear a couple pops, totally fine. Don't freak out. I'm going to let them sit like this for 24 hours, and then I will take the rings off prior to storing them The reason is because if the lids come off in storage, that allows bacteria to get in, and you can't eat that. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the best pickle recipe ever.